This SoonerScoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. From the big plays to life's everyday moments, see it all in sharp focus with LASIK at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIK.
Hello and welcome back. Eddie Radosovich, George Stoya here from the SoonerScoop.com studios. Welcome back to another William and Lauren practice report, a Wednesday, which means we'll get availability report. OU South Carolina coming up at 11:45 a.m. on Saturday. Oklahoma trying to get back on the right foot after a rough weekend in Dallas. I'm sure that if you're watching this, maybe your hangover is still...
People are still mad. I'll tell you that.
Okay, well that doesn't...
But maybe, usually it's this time of week, Wednesday, Thursday, you start saying, oh, well, maybe they can get back on track.
Hashtag feels like Thursday. We've talked about that before. A little bit more cleanup to do from Brent Venables and Ben Arbuckle, as well as some of the players on Monday night as Oklahoma looks to get back in the good graces of the win column coming up on Saturday in South Carolina, 11:45 kickoff in Columbia. Looking forward to it. We'll catch up with Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central on the game day preview coming up on Thursday here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel. George, how are we?
Great. Another beautiful day here in Norman, Oklahoma.
That's a great... They should put that on a flyer.
They should.
Shouldn't they?
Now, not so good day for the liquor store.
Not so much. FBI raided University Liquor on, what is this, Wednesday boarding?
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Waiting to see what that actually is. Hopefully they don't come snooping around the Sooner Scoop offices. Before we get into everything, Brent Venables talked on the teleconference on Wednesday, as per usual. A little bit of news on Jayden Gibson that we have to share, and then we'll, of course, catch up with a number of players, as well as Brent Venables, Ben Arbuckle from their press conferences on Tuesday. We did the basically the entire offensive breakdown on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. What the hell are they going to do? Then the run game, John Mateer bouncing back, all that kind of stuff you can see here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel. Before we get to that, though, let us tell you about our good friends over at HomefieldApparel.com. HomefieldApparel.com, the premium collegiate-based apparel brand out of Indianapolis. Of course, officially licensed apparel with vintage college designs. Got the coach's jackets, the bomber jackets, the hats, the crew necks, the platinum boxes, everything that you could desire this time of the year, George.
The Oklahoma varsity jacket, is that new? That's awesome.
That is new. And I do like that. That's a good-looking jacket.
Sweet.
Hopefully, the weather's going to change at some point, and you can utilize that jacket. All you got to do is go to HomefieldApparel.com and check out all of their vintage college designs. I like the Big 8 stuff. You throw a Big 8 logo or a Big 8 anything with Oklahoma, I'm kind of a sucker for it.
OU wishes they were playing in the Big 8 right now.
That would probably be better than what they're about to embark on in the SEC schedule. Of course, trip up to Columbia, South Carolina. I think the weather's actually going to be pretty nice on Saturday, low 80s, so that shouldn't be too bad. But maybe everybody will be clean shaven. We also would like to tell you about Harry's, George.
Yeah, Harry's. They do a great job. I've been using their razors and their products for a long time now, but I actually used it this morning. I look great.
Clean shaven.
So
how about that?
No cuts, none of that. But like I said, I use their razors. They're great, but also all their different products, from the shaving cream and the anti-shine stick and those things. They're awesome.
Do you like the heaviest razor handle too to utilize?
Makes it a lot easier, a lot smoother. Shave that way.
Very good. All you got to do is go to harrys.com/SoonerScoop to claim the offer. Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 right now. harrys.com/SoonerScoop, and we will get you set up looking good out there in the weekend. Thank you to our good friends over at Harry's. They also got plenty of I was going to say shaving, but soaps and everything in between. They got it all at harrys.com/SoonerScoop. All right, let's get into the program today. We mentioned at the top, teleconference on Wednesday, and maybe some light shed. I guess not even maybe. You can take that out. Some light is shed on Jayden Gibson, who it was confirmed is no longer with the program, George.
Yeah, and we've kind of alluded to that on this show. I mean, we kind of had heard that about a month ago and actually reached out to Oklahoma about it. They said that they would get back to us on it. We never really heard back. But yeah, he's no longer with the program, and it's one of those things that sounds like he's going to enter the transfer portal. I think he's got, is it 3 years of eligibility left now? Because
I would imagine so, yeah.
He redshirted his first year at Oklahoma, obviously had that kind of breakout year in 23. I think he had like 5 touchdowns on 14 receptions. 300-something yards.
A lot of work at the end of that 2023 season leading into 24, right?
A target for Dylan Gabriel late in that season, but missed all of last year with the knee injury, before the season. And then, this year I think he had that setback back in, I think it was March, right before spring practice, and just never got back to being himself. And, I think we kind of saw this coming when you go out to practice. And
certainly seems like the writing's been on the wall for a while.
Yeah, he wasn't out there a ton, and I don't think he's been at any of the games this year. So
that was kind of like that first big alarm bell.
Yeah,
like,
red
wait
flag.
a second. Some of these guys, you're usually around the program if you're still with the team, and I don't know.
We'll
to
see.
steal a line from Tim Dillon,
wishing
wish
him the best. Yeah, wish him the best, because I do think he was a really good person to talk to, and heck, when he was healthy, he was pretty good.
No doubt about it. All right, we continue on. The availability report will be out on Wednesday. I know that we hit on this a little bit on Tuesday during the William and Lauren practice report. Derek Simmons certainly seems like the best news possible after he got hurt in the first quarter on Saturday.
Yeah, it sounds like he I think it's an ankle sprain, and when he first went down, it was like, oh man, he might be done for the year.
Doesn't look good, yeah.
And it sounds like he's day to day. Brent told us that on Tuesday. Availability report, by the time you're watching this, it's probably out. My guess is he'll be questionable on that. Sounds like he has been a part of practice in some capacity. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Can he play on Saturday? And even if he did, how healthy would he be? I'm not sure, but it's certainly good news that it's not a long-term thing and you're eventually going to get him back. But if he can't play this Saturday, my guess is Luke Baklenko. We'll see if Logan Howland. That's the other name to watch.
I was going to ask you about Logan Howland.
I would guess he's also questionable on the availability report. I don't know if he can give it a go this week. I think he's kind of in the same boat as Derek Simmons. I think it's also an ankle sprain. So kind of a wait and see. Hopefully they can get at least one of those guys for some depth purposes. But if not, it's probably going to be Luke Baklenko. And after that, that's where it gets tricky.
That's where it gets really scary.
I don't even know who else. I mean, I would assume maybe they're getting Ryan Foje, maybe some reps at tackle, Daniel Akinkumi. I don't know what they do there, but it's certainly something to watch this week with the availability report.
Not necessarily the best feeling when you know that Dylan Stewart's on one side. They got a really good defensive end on the other. We'll get into more of South Carolina stuff coming up on the game day preview on Thursday. This is more defensive-centric. We'll hear from Ben Arbuckle here in a little bit in the program as well, talking about that offensive tackle depth with some of the injuries and the unknown going into this weekend's game in Columbia. But let's start with the defense. That I think we talked to a bunch of the guys on Monday. Obviously, talked to Brent Venables, the defense coordinator, on Tuesday at his press conference, and it's kind of weird because it's like you only give up 16 offensive points to Texas on Saturday down at the Cotton Bowl, but you still feel like they left a lot out there as much as the offense did. You could say the same for the defense.
Yeah, I think that obviously they played great in a lot of aspects, but giving up the drive before halftime or after halftime, they want to clean some of that up. The missed tackles was a massive issue, and then also just forcing turnovers, helping this offense out. Like, what's the best thing for a struggling offense? Short fields and a defensive touchdown would be nice too. Anything that can help
once or twice.
Yeah, that anything like that would be super helpful for Oklahoma. So while his defense has been spectacular this season, you like to hear from them, saying the things like we can do better, or even the mentality of, hey, we're winning at halftime. If we just shut them out in the second half, we win the football game. And I know that's a little unrealistic in some regard, but I like that mindset.
No doubt about it. Here is a number of Oklahoma defenders just kind of talking about getting back up on the horse here after a rough weekend down in Dallas.
I think first half we came out with a lot of intensity, a lot of passion, and ready to go. And then it kind of just changed. Second half, I feel like we didn't have that same fire. That's the most rushing yards we've given up all year, and it was basic runs. It wasn't anything that was exotic, and we were in good calls. And I mean, it was just at the end of the day, we look back at it now and we moved on. We know we need to fix.
Spirits that hasn't changed. We're focused on getting better, and one loss doesn't. It's not going to defeat this team. That's not who we are, and we're just going to learn from it and get better. And that's all we're worried about right now. We didn't perform to win, and that showed. We got to get better. The fundamentals, the basics, the details, and we will get better. It's a learning curve, and watch the tape with critical eyes and get better. The defense as a whole, All three levels in the game. Special teams, offense, defense. We didn't play to the OU standard, and that's something we're going to get corrected and fixed quickly.
Honestly, we just lack details. We truly beat ourselves. I mean, that school is a very good school. They have very great athletes, very talented. But at the end of the day, I just feel like we beat ourselves, to be honest. I mean, don't let your past opponent beat you twice, and that's really the mindset. It's just what happened. We have to learn from it, keep our heads held high because there's still a lot of football left. I mean, just go out there and work.
I would say the biggest thing is not let Texas beat us twice. You know, what I mean by that is not let that game, linger on to this week. We still got an SEC opponent on the road, and as y'all know, that it don't get easier. So we just got to continue to, get back to the basics, reload. Texas happened, we got to move on. It's unfortunate, but we got a team in South Carolina that they're playing good football right now.
It didn't seem like everybody was just completely down on Monday night, just in specifically talking about the players.
Which you wouldn't expect from a veteran group, right?
Right.
Like they get it.
And that's kind of the point here is there is a lot of season left. I know that Brent Venables talking about it. You'll hear from him here in a second. You certainly don't want things to snowball right now.
Yeah.
You got a lot to play for. I think that we talked about it a little bit today on the Unofficial 40 that you could hear here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel, as well as all your podcasting platforms with Josh and Carrie. Just in terms of, there is a lot to play for. This is a big weekend, right?
Yeah.
But if you can get to 7-1 before the beginning of November, you could somewhat close out the month of October on the right foot.
Definitely. And again, like I said it on the podcast today, but you win this game on the road in South Carolina, and then you take care of business at home, you're going to be at least 9-3. And again, it's not easy at home with Ole Miss, who I think is pretty good, and LSU, and they've been kind of up and down, but a good football team overall.
A good Missouri team as well.
A good Missouri team. And then obviously the road games at Knoxville and Tuscaloosa, those certainly won't be easy, but there's a lot to play for and a lot to prove, whether you're, a couple of seniors like Dominic Williams and Gentry Williams who want to, finish this thing out strong, or even a Taylor Wine who's in his third year, but also this coaching staff. I think that a lot's on the line these last 6 games, and I think everybody in that building is aware of that. And so kind of, obviously correcting the mistakes of the Texas game, but also throwing that away and saying, okay, that's in the past. We can't sit here and sulk for too long because South Carolina's really good, Ole Miss is really good, and so on and so forth.
I don't think that anybody's sitting around and like taking any moral victories out of Saturday, but I do think that there is a reality within the Oklahoma football offices and or facility right now that they were leading at halftime. You're in the fourth quarter. You're in a game before things really spiraled on you. Yeah,
you outplayed them for 2 quarters, and then it just kind of fell apart after halftime, and even you still had a shot there early in the fourth before the punt return and everything that went into that. So I think that they know that they're close, and everybody hates that term, right? From the Lincoln Riley days, but it's the truth. We've seen Oklahoma play really good football this year. Against Michigan and Auburn, and now they just kind of have to put it together for 4 quarters, and they're going to have to do it every single week, or else they'll have a chance to get beat.
A lot of season left. That's kind of the main point here. And here is some of the players as well as Brent Venables talking about just that on Tuesday.
Just be who we are. Again, you have snowballing can certainly mean, that's a broad term. It means a lot to a lot of different people. I don't see people that are weak-minded and let things snowball. That's not what I see every day. This is a group that knows how to punch back and dust themselves off and go right back at it. It's a group of competitors, both coaches and players, a lot of guys that are heavily invested, and again, you lost a game, and late in the game you have a chance to still win the game, where a lot of things didn't go your way. You try to figure things out, and you come right back and you do it again. And I told them before the game, you go win the game. Hey, guess what? We got to go play a noon kickoff in Columbia, South Carolina, regardless of this outcome of this game. And it's going to be every bit as important, win or lose. And they're all important. So our guys got a business-like approach. I do think that they're fueled from the pain of defeat and missed opportunities, and they'll respond the right way.
Yeah, man, we're so close, but we're so far at the same time. And if you don't do the details to win, it's going to humble you. We got humbled on Saturday, but we're going to move on. We're able to learn from it. But it's all a learning experience, Like Coach V says all the time, it's a one-possession league, and we didn't do the steps that we need to do in the fourth quarter or in the second half alone to finish that game out. Yeah, all the fundamentals. It's the little things that what got us beat. It wasn't the big things, wasn't the big plays. It was the little fundamentals, techniques, being in your gaps, wrapping up, tackling. So we got to get back to the basics. And shoot, we're there. We just got to keep working.
Yeah, it's the next game. So we have a big opponent this week, and we're going to attack it. And you just got to continue to move on. We got a tough schedule, and we embrace it. So we got to get better each week. And some areas we did last week, and some areas we got to improve. So we'll sharpen it up and get ready for this weekend.
I think a lot of people were a lot more invested, which, looking back at it, I wish some of those guys that are watching it more now just did that in the beginning, because it shouldn't take the loss to figure that out. But, hey, we can use this loss. I was thinking to myself, when's the last time a national championship winner was undefeated? That's just the day and age we in now. So, we have a lot of goals still left on the table that we can accomplish easily.
Leadership's obviously huge on this team. There's a lot of veteran guys, especially on the defense. Did any of them sort of speak out after the game to you guys and give you guys a message after the loss or anything?
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, we got to put it into action and we got to get better. Our leadership was there, and but we weren't. We didn't have good attention to the details. It's the fundamentals, so we'll get better.
Definitely. I think for them too, if they were down on themselves, it just means that it means a lot to them. They understand that you don't get a lot of chances to play in that river game, and when it means a lot to you, you're not going to feel the best after you don't get the result you want when you put the work in. And I think they understand that. But those are two guys that they played a lot of ball, especially in the SEC, so they know what it takes to to reload every single week. And I have complete faith in them that they're going to go out there and do their job again this week at a high level.
Last national champion who went undefeated?
Michigan.
Yeah, it was only 2 years ago, but that's okay.
But I don't think Peyton Bowen is wrong in the sense that you can be a 2 or 3 loss SEC team and have a chance at this thing.
Well, and I think that a lot of times you just want to get into the dance, right?
I mean, look at Ohio State last year,
especially with the expanded roster. playoff. Obviously,
Ohio State. What they have 2 losses.
Sure.
Now, of course, they were extremely talented. Should have never lost those 2 games, but I understand the point that he's and it does feel like this year. Maybe this is for another show, but this year does feel extremely wide open in college football right now, and especially in this league.
Learned a lesson on Saturday. Yep. Now it's about expanding on that, and particularly on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about Derek Simmons and his injury availability status. We'll find out more on Wednesday night when the availability report comes out, but they are going to have to find a way to run the ball regardless of who's playing offensive tackle. And we talked to Michael Fasusi on Monday night about just that. They have to find something. You would hope that I don't know. We'll see. Maybe some fans will like what he had to say, but certainly a physicality level has to be on an uptick if you're going to find a way to run the football.
Yeah, and first of all, I just want to say I love talking to Michael Fasusi. This guy is a lot of fun to be around.
Sure.
You can tell how much he loves just playing football, and how smart he is. I think he is obviously very green in terms of being a true freshman, but I think he understands the levity of everything and also how they need to be better. And so, kind of picking his brain on the physicality in the run game and how they can improve in that. He's arguably been their best offensive lineman, and he's a true freshman, which maybe says something about the other guys. But it is a unit that needs to be better, and I think they're taking accountability with that. And they know if Oklahoma wants to reach its goals, its offensive line has to improve quite a bit over these last 6 games.
Here is Ben Arbuckle talking about the depth at the offensive tackle position going into this week and this Saturday, as well as Michael Fasusi talking about Oklahoma taking a step on the offensive line.
It's football, right? Everyone's going to get hurt. I think there's a lot of people around the country who are probably a little bit banged up. The biggest thing that we can promote is the next man up mentality, and the standard doesn't change just because the next man's up. You have to find different ways as a coach to put those guys in position to be successful, help them out if there needs to be some help somewhere. But it's the next man up mentality, and so you have to continue getting guys back and healthy, and that comes from their process and recovery. But you have to find creative ways in practice too to make sure you're getting what you need to get done at the standard you need to get done, but ultimately not just working the absolute dog out of someone too. So I think there's a artmanship to it, a craftsmanship to it, and we have to continue working that. But it's next man up mentality.
Michael, what's the key to getting the running game going better for you guys?
It all just comes down to details and physicality. You feel me? Like there has to be a will imposed in our mind that I'm going to move you from point A to point B, and that's what we're going to do. You know, that's what we're working on. That's what we're improving on every single day. And then coming down to the details, like, you can't just look at what's right in front of you. Like, you got to see the whole defense. Like, all the guys are going to play, they're going to do all this. They're going to do multiple stuff on the line of scrimmage. So again, come back to details. You got to keep your eyes up, head up. Feel me? Hands ready to strike anybody, and feet moving on the ground. So details and physicality. That's what it's going to come down to.
Is that physicality something that you guys can practice during the week, or is it something that you just kind of have to go out and do in a game?
I feel like it's something that we practice all throughout the week. Specifically for me, whether it's walkthroughs, whether it's full goals, I make sure I'm bringing my full best every single rep. You feel me? And the guys are also doing the same thing as well. So physicality is something that I feel like is ingrained in us. But at the same time, something that can keep bettering, because it's not just, I'm gonna go hit you. It's like, I'm gonna go hit you with technique. Like I'm gonna go hit you with the best technique I have. You feel me? And that's what it comes down to. Like, what's it called? Violence, but technical violence. That's exactly what it is, and that's what we're gonna impose.
Technical violence has been George's mentions on game days, it seems.
They need more technical violence, and I would argue more violence than technical.
Very good. All right. Run game. It's going to be certainly something that we are going to talk about here. I think it feels like for the rest of the season, if that can come together, maybe you have a better chance than maybe you think that you do right now. I know that you have said that if you have any ideas about Oklahoma and the run game, hit up George Stoya on Twitter at George Stoya and make sure that he knows.
I would imagine
I
would imagine the YouTube comments have a lot of suggestions.
100%, and George will go through all of those when we get done with the program.
Firing everybody is certainly an option.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure that'll fix it all.
Yeah, and if not, maybe they could sell that. They let people come into the press conference the first, the Michigan game, or I guess for all the home games, but maybe they could let some people call plays.
Yeah, that would be certainly entertaining.
I proposed that for Oklahoma State over the course of the rest of their season.
They should actually do that. They should get that shirtless guy. Let him call.
Just let him
plays.
do it.
That'd be awesome.
He can't go to the game this week against Cincinnati, and I think they should just have his sister, the one that bet him, to go up there to do that.
No comment.
I thought that was a great idea. All right, that's going to do it for the program today. We'll be back here on Thursday for a game day preview. As we said at the top, Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central joined us. Some similarities, it feels like, between these two teams, and obviously the two head coaches, that you lose this game on Saturday, all of a sudden you're kind of on a hotter seat than maybe you already were with some fans. All right, for George Stoya, I'm Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you back here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel.